So in this video, I'm going to go over the 7A test review. So this first question says the right circular cylinder, that's this guy, and the right rectangular prism, that's this guy, have the same heights and the same base areas. What does that mean? That means that the volumes have to be the same, guys, okay? So it says a parallel plane to each base slices the two solids. What is the width? It's asking us for the width, okay, of the rectangular cross-section. Okay, so look, the cross-sections all the way up and down are going to be the same as these bases right here. Now remember, a base could be at the top or the bottom, okay? So this is length times width, right? And this is pi r squared. So the length times the width needs to be equal to pi r squared because the heights are the same. That means the volumes are the same, okay? So it says, what's the width of the rectangular cross-section if the right rectangular prism has a base length of 6 inches? So it has a length of 6 inches. So that's 6 times W, and that's equal to, and it says in the cylinder's cross-sectional area has an area of, and this should have been squared, y'all, 30 pi. So that's this 30 pi right here, okay, because that's our cylinder, right? Okay. So what do we do to solve here? We just divide both sides by 6 because it says we're looking for the width, right? So that means our width is going to be equal to 5 pi. That's our answer, okay? So for this next one, it's a pyramid. It says find the volume of the square pyramid. Well, first of all, it says it's a square pyramid, so that means the sides are the same, right? Then we're going to find the height, okay? Because I'm going to talk to you about y in just a second, okay? So that's our right triangle, okay? Our height is here. And remember that that's in the center, that this point right here is in the center, right? So that means we're going to divide that 130 by 2, and so that's 65, right? Okay. So the formula for the volume of a pyramid is volume is equal to 1/3 base times height, okay? So we need to solve for that height. So we're going to do h squared plus the 65 squared equals the 97 squared. The reason why we made the 97 by itself is because it's our C. Why is it our C? Because it's opposite that right angle, okay? So this is going to end up being h squared plus, trying to see what I have on my paper, 4225 here, and that's going to be equal to our 97 squared, which is 9409. Okay, then we're going to subtract that 4,225 from both sides. So now that's all gone from there, and we have our h squared is equal to, and when I did that, I got 5184. Remember, when we want h and we have h squared, we got to take the square root of both sides, right? So h here is going to be equal to 72. Now we're going to take our volume formula, this right here, and remember our base is length times width, right? So we're going to do volume is going to be equal to 1/3 of our 130 times our 130 times our height, which is 72. And when we do that, I got that the volume is equal to 405, 600, and that's going to be millimeters cubed, okay? Now, don't forget to multiply by that 1/3, because if you do, you're going to get it wrong. And remember, we never use slant height as the height. The height of this object is in the center of the object, okay? And it's a pyramid. All right, so the next one says the gym has a set of dumbbells with the following weights. So we're going to count how many of these we have because that's going to be our denominator. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have 9 weights, okay? 9 dumbbells, okay? That's going to be our denominator. So, and that says, what's the probability you choose a weight that's not a multiple of 5? Well, our multiples of 5s are 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, right? Okay, so notice this word not. We don't want a multiple of 5. We want everything that's not a multiple of 5. So that means it would be not, right? So how many is left? 1, 2, 3, right? So that's going to be 3/9. Put that in your calculator. It reduces to 1/3. It also says that it's 0.033, and when we multiply that by 100, we get 33%. Now, once again, remember that if we want to get our percent, we multiply this by 100, okay? All right, now we're going to do our next one. I'm going to erase this so we can talk about it again. So the next one says, what is the probability you choose a weight that is not a multiple of 10? Okay, so that would be our 10, our 20, and our 30, right? So how many do we have left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so this is going to be 6 over 9. That reduces to be 2/3, and again, your calculator will do this for you. That is 0.67, which is 67%. Okay? Now, it says at Archer High School, 87% of all students have an iPhone, while 42% of all students have a car and an iPhone. What is the probability the student has a car given that they have an iPhone? This term, given, that is that formula on y'all's formula sheet that says the probability of A given B has occurred, okay? Remember, that little slash right there means given, okay? So now, it is, on your formula sheet, what it says is that the probability, it would be the probability of A and B over the probability of B. So we're going to find where this and word is, okay? So Archer High School has 87% that have an iPhone. That's one thing, right? 87% iPhone. Then we've got this 42% have a car and an iPhone. Y'all see that right there? Car and iPhone. So where's that go? That goes on the top, the 0.42. Then we're going to divide that by our 0.87. Here's the hack. The smaller number is always, always, always going to go on the top, okay? So just go ahead and do that on your calculator right now. And you should have got 0.48, which is equal to 48%. Again, remember, you just multiply that 0.48 times 100 to get the percent, okay? So this next one says event A and B have probabilities such that A is 0.4, B is 0.28, the probability of A and B is 0.12, the probability of A or B is 0.68. Are the events A and B independent? Now remember, when we do this, we're looking at the probability of A times the probability of B, and we want to know, is that equal to the probability of A and B, okay? If it's not equal to A and B, it's not independent, okay? So we're going to take our 0.4, we're going to multiply it times our 0.28, and when I did that, I got 0.112. Well, that does not equal our and statement right here. Y'all see it right there? That does not equal 0.12. So the answer to this is no, they are not independent. And I need y'all to see, or statements have nothing to do with dependence or independence, okay? So that's an irrelevant piece of information. All right, so the next number 6 says students were surveyed to find out if they had a cat, dog, or bird. The results of the survey are in the Venn diagram. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is find out how many total animals are in the survey. So I got 10 plus 10 plus 10, that's 30. 6 and 2 and 2 is another 10, that's 40, and 9 and 1 is 50. So we got a total of 50 animals in this survey, okay? So it asked me here for the probability of a dog. So we know that we're going to put this over with some number over 50, right? So we're looking at dogs right here. So how many dogs are in that? So 9 plus 2 is 11, 12, 13, 13 plus 6 is 19. So this is going to be 19 over 50, and that reduces, no, actually that doesn't reduce because 19 is a prime number, so this is going to be 0.38. And again, remember, to change that to a percentage, you're going to multiply that by 100, so that's 38%, okay? So now we're going to look at the next one. So the next one is a bird and a dog, okay? So this means overlap, okay? You need to remember that this symbol means and it means overlap, okay? So we're looking for where the dogs and the birds circles overlap. So here's our dog. Whoops, not very good drawing. Wow, let me do that again, y'all. Here's all the dogs. There's all the birds. Where do those two overlap? Right there, right? So that's going to be our 4 over our 50. That one does reduce to 2 over 25. And that is 0.08%, and so multiply that by 100, that's 8%, okay? Find a different color here, okay? So then we got cat or dog. Remember, this means or, and what does it mean? It means you're going to combine the two groups, okay? Looks like a U, so for union, right? So when you have a union between two families, you combine the two families, right? Okay, so now we're looking at the combination of the cats and the dogs, right? So 10 plus 10 is 20, plus 6 plus 4, that's another 30, 39, right? So that's going to be 39 over 50. And that does not reduce, so that's going to be 0.78, and that's 78%, okay? Okay, so now once again, remember what this slash means. It means given. Now I need to talk to you all about this. Remember, this is asking us for the probability of a bird given you have a dog, okay? So whatever's in the bottom is going to be, in a Venn diagram, it's going to be a whole circle or more, okay? So this is the dogs, right? So that's going to be a total, so we're going to talk about a total of the dogs, right? That's going to go in the bottom. And then we're going to talk about something else that's in that circle that's the overlap, right? So we're going to talk about the birds that are, so how many of the people that had dogs also had birds? So weren't we going to be talking about this number right here? Yeah. So the people that had dogs were 19, right? So this is going to be our overlap right here, okay, of the dogs and the birds, okay? So that's going to be 4 over our 19. That does not reduce again because 19 is a prime number. So this is going to be 0.21. And again, multiply that by 100. That's 21%, okay? Now this last one, this means not, okay? So it's saying what is the probability that someone does not have a bird? So there's a couple ways you could do this one, and I'm going to show you. I could just find the birds, right? So that's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we're going to do 1, which is our 100%, minus the 15 over the 50, okay? That's going to be equal to 35 over 50. And this will be useful to y'all later more, okay? So when I do that, 5 goes into both, right? So this is going to be 7 over 10, right? That's equal to 0.7, which is equal to 70%. Okay, now listen, there's another way to do this. You could have also added all the things that are outside of the bird. So there's your 10, 20, and 15, that's 35, right? You could have done it that way as well. Your call as to which way you do it. Got it? All right, so the next one says a survey of 714 patients at a hospital classified them by sex and blood type, as shown in the table. What percent of patients have AB blood? Okay, so what we're going to do with this table is we're going to find the totals first before we move on, okay? So I'm going to go across here, add those two together. That's going to give me 198. Add these together. That's going to give me 183 and 300 and 33, okay? Then I'm going to add my rows as well. So this is going to give me 379. This is going to give me 335. I'm going to double check both my rows and columns over here to make sure that that's 714. And if it's not, then I'm going to double check my addition, okay? So that's what we're going to do to find those totals. That's what we did, okay? We're going to need those for some things. So always find those if you need to. It says, what's the percent of patients that have type AB blood? So we've got type AB blood right here, right, guys? So that's type AB blood. So that's going to be 33 over our total 714. Go ahead and put that in your calculator, see if it reduces. And it does. This is going to be 11 divided by 238. That could be your answer. Then what percent is that? That's 0.05, which when you multiply that by 100% is 5%, okay? The next one says, what is the probability that a patient is male and has type B blood? Okay, so I'm going to pull this off of here. male and type B blood is here, right? Okay. So and, remember, means that overlap right there. That's what and means, overlap. So write that here, overlap. That's where those two overlap, right? So this is going to be 99 over our 714. That one reduces to be 33 over the 238. That's going to be equal to 0.14, which is 14%, okay? So I'm going to pull this off of here so we can use our drawing again. I'm going to clean this up over here. 33 and 300. Let me put that 33 back there, just in case we need it. That's 198, okay. Okay, so this next one says, what is the probability of the female, or, notice this or, okay? So remember, we're going to add, and subtract the overlap, okay? Because it's an or. So females are here, right? There's our females right there. And then it says type A blood. So here's our type A bloods, okay? So we're going to take our total, females, 335 over the 714. We're going to add to it the total for type A bloods. That's 198 over 714. And we're going to subtract that overlap right there, because remember that 93 is overrepresented right now. So we're going to do minus 93 over 714 when we do that. Remember, you're keeping your denominator. So really what you're doing here is you're doing 335 plus 198 minus 93, okay? So when we do that, I got 440 over 714. And I'm going to move this over. Hold on just a second so I have some more room to write. And this can be reduced, right, to 220 over 357. Remember, that could be your answer, right? Okay, and then that's 0.62, which is 62%, okay? The next one says, what is the probability that the patient does not have type O blood? Now, I'm going to show you guys the easiest way to do this, okay? So the easiest way to do this is to find all the people that do have type O blood, okay? That's all these guys right here, okay? And subtract them from 1. So we're going to do 1 minus our 300 over 714. That's the easiest way to do this, guys. Then we don't have to add up all those other numbers, okay? So that's going to give us 414 over 714. If we reduce that, we get 69 over 119, and that's equal to 0.58, which is 58%. Okay, so this next one says, what is the probability that a patient is male given he has type A blood? Okay, so it says given he has type A blood. So we're talking about only our type A blood people. That's what we're talking about. And remember, we're going to take, so this is the probability of male given he has type A blood, okay? That's what this is looking like, okay? So what does this mean? It means that we're looking for the and statement on top. So how many males have type A blood? That's going to be our 105. That's this number right here, right? And our total, or actually in this case subtotal, is going to be what goes in the bottom. So remember, your given goes where? In the denominator, okay? So you're going to do our given in the bottom, and then that part on the top, right? Our and on top, right? Put the given, and remember, this is always going to be a subtotal. Always going to be a subtotal, okay? When it's male given, they have type A blood, okay? And you're going to take the total right here, the 198, put it in the bottom, and put that 105 on top. And so when we do that and we simplify that, hang on, I had to move something, so I got to find my answer up here. What's simplified? Okay, so this is 35 over 66, and that's also equal to 0.53, which is 53%, okay? All right, so our next one is another Venn diagram, okay? So it says how many students, and then it's asking us questions. So the first thing we want to do is add up all the numbers that are in the drawing. So when I did that, I got a total of 113, okay? So remember, that's going to be our denominator, okay? So it says, how many enjoy painting and pottery? And means what? This means overlap, remember, okay? So painting and pottery. So we're looking for potteries here, paintings there. There's your overlap right there. So 14 plus 11, right? So 14 plus 11 over our 113. So that's going to be what? 25 over our 113. Does that reduce? Nope. So this is going to be 0.22, which is 22%, okay? So then our next one, don't enjoy painting, okay? So remember, we were doing this as a 1 minus, right? So we're going to look at how many people enjoy painting right here. We're going to add up those numbers, 14, 11, 9, and 18, and we're going to put that over top of, so when I did that, when I added all those numbers up, I got 52. So that's 52 over 113. And that equals, we can, again, 61 over 113. That does not reduce. So that's 0.54. And that is 54%. Now, again, when it says not, we could have done everything outside of there. And in this case, that would have been a little, it's as easy because there's 4 numbers and 4 numbers, right? So if we want everything but, we could have added those 4 numbers together, right? They don't enjoy painting, okay? Okay, so then the next one says enjoy sewing or pottery. So remember, this means what? What does or mean? It means you're going to combine the two groups, right? So we're looking at sewing or pottery. Oh, wait a minute now, though it says but not painting. So that means we're not including the stuff that's in here, right? So we're not including that. So that means we're going to add the 15, the 17, and the 13. Y'all see that? 15 and 17 and 13. We're going to add these 3 numbers right here. Okay? So that's going to give me, I got 45 over my 113. Does that reduce? Nope. So this is going to be 0.40. And that is 40%. Okay? So the next one says enjoy sewing. Okay? This one's easy, right? It's just that group right there. Sewing over our total. So we're going to add up all those numbers. When I did that, I got 55 over our 113. Again, that does not reduce. That's 0.49, which is 49%, okay? Then it says enjoying sewing and painting. Painting and sewing, right? So if we're talking about painting and sewing, what does this and mean again? It means what? Overlap. So we're looking for where those two overlap. So we've got painting here, we've got sewing there, and right there's our overlap, isn't it? There's our overlap. So 9 plus 14, that's 23. So this is going to be 23 over our 113. Again, does not reduce, 0.020, and that is 20%. Okay. Our last one is do not enjoy pottery or painting. Okay, do not enjoy pottery or painting. Okay, so on this one, here's our pottery, here's our painting, and if it says do not enjoy that, right? So this time, these are all the people that don't enjoy that, right? So what's left? 15 and 16, right? So we're going to do our 15 plus our 16, right? 15 plus 16 over our 113. That would have been 31 over 113. Now there's another way to do this. I'm going to show you in a minute. Okay, that's 0.27, which is 27%. Now the other way we could have done this, okay, everybody look up here, is we could have added up all the numbers that are in here, right? Because that's our or statement. Y'all see that? We could have added up all those numbers, and we could have done 1 minus, and that would have been 82 over the 113. Guess what that would have given us? That 31 over 113, okay? So I don't care which way y'all do it. It doesn't really matter. Whichever one works better for you and for the way the problem's set up, okay? All right, here's a deck of cards, okay? So this is given a deck of 52 cards. What is the probability you would draw an 8 or an ace, okay? Remember, or means what? What are we looking for here? This is, okay, and remember, the formulas are on the formula sheet. Now, when we talk about these things or things in a drawing like this, we're going to look at the numbers and we're going to add them together and subtract the overlap, right? Okay, so or again means we're going to combine the two groups, right? Combining means addition, yes? Okay. So what is the probability you would draw an 8 or an ace? Okay, so we got 8s right here, right? And we got aces right here. My pen is not cooperating. Aces right here. So isn't that going to be 4 over 52 plus our 4 over 52? No overlap in that group, right? So that's going to be 8 over 52, which reduces to be 2 over 13, which is equal to 0.15 or 15%, okay? All right, the next one says a face card and an ace, okay? Face card and an ace, okay? So these are all our face cards, right? So how many of those do we have? Remember, this is the end, right? And then we have aces here. Now, remember, what does and mean? This means overlap, right? Is there any overlap in those groups, y'all? No, there is not. So this is 0% because there's no overlap, okay? That's key here. There's no face cards and aces, right? It can't be a face card and an ace here because there's no overlap, okay? The next one says heart or red, okay? So let's do this one. How many hearts are there? Okay, so it says hearts. So these are our hearts, right? Remember, what are we looking for here? Or. When we're talking about or, we're going to combine these groups, right? So we got hearts. So there were 13 over 26 of those, right? Then we're going to add to that our red cards. Well, the red cards are all of those, right? So that's 26 over, sorry, that should have been 52 over there, y'all. Like, what was I doing? This is, yeah, 13 over 52, sorry. And that's 26 over 52. Wait a minute. Looking at our drawing, don't we have a group that's both? So we're going to have to subtract that 13 over 52. So the answer here is going to be 26 over 52, which is 1/2, which is 0.5, which is 50%, yes? Okay. Now, let me go ahead and erase this and we'll come back to it. Okay, so I put this image down here too, y'all, so we can still see the deck cards. It says, what is the probability you will draw a black card followed by a black card? Okay, so how many black cards are in the deck, y'all? So we got black and black, right? So isn't that half our cards? So that's going to be 26 over 52. Now remember, I said if it doesn't have the word or, we're multiplying, right? So this has got to be an and statement. And we're pulling another black card. Doesn't say we put it back. So now we have 25 black cards, right, over the 51, okay? So multiply across the top and across the bottom. And when you do that, or just multiply these in your calculator like this, right? Okay. That's going to be 650 over our 2652. And that reduces to be 25 over 102, which is equal to about 25%. Okay. And remember again, if it's a decimal, you do it, multiply it by 100 to get that percent. Okay. Then it says not even. Okay. So not even. So we're going to find the evens, and we're going to do our 1 minus. Remember, this means not, right? Okay, so 1 minus, let's find the evens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 20, right? So we're going to do 20 over 52. Those are going to be all the cards that are not evens, okay? So when we do that in the calculator, we get 32 over 52, right? And that's going to reduce to be 8 over 13. That is going to be 0.62, and that's equal to 62%. Now remember, you can go ahead and count all the other cards, but to me that would be insane when there's less by doing it the way we did it, okay? So now the last one here says, oh, and by the way, odd cards, I need y'all to know this, okay? Odd cards, an ace is not an odd card. Okay, an ace is a category of its own. Odd cards are 3, 5, 7, and 9. So if it asked us about odd cards, which is what it's about, what's the probability that a card is odd given it's red? We're going to talk about that right now. Okay, so given it's red, we're only talking about red cards, right? So that given means we put that number in the denominator, right? That whole group. Then how many of those cards are odd? 3, 5, 7, 9. 3, 5, 7, 9. So isn't that 8 cards? So that's 8 over 26, okay? That reduces to be 4 over 13, and that's going to be 0.31, which is 31%. Now remember, again, ace is not an odd card, okay? All right, so the next one says find the probability of rolling a 1, followed by a 5 when you roll a dice 2 times in a row. So 1 over 6. Again, no or right here, right? It doesn't say or, so we're going to multiply, and because there's one side of the dice that has a 5, and then one that has a 1, right, y'all? Okay, so that's, remember, multiply across top or on your calculator, just do this, okay? That's going to be 1 over 36, and when we get that, it's 0.03, which is 3%, okay? All right, your change jar contains 6 pennies, 5 nickels, 4 dimes, 3 quarters. Add up all those numbers and you get 18, right? Find the probability of randomly choosing 2 coins and they are both dimes, okay? Doesn't say you put anything back, right? So that means how many dimes do we have? 4. So we're going to do 4 over 18. You keep that dime and you take it out. So how many dimes are left in there? 3. How many coins are left in there? 17. So this is going to be 12 over 306. That reduces to be 2 over 51, and it is 0.04, which is 4%, right? Okay. So in a survey, 50 total athletes, males and females, are asked which sport they played out of basketball, baseball, softball, golf. All right, so we know that there's 50 total athletes, okay? There were 22 that play basketball. So we got 22 here, 19 that played baseball, softball, and 28 females. 28 females, okay? It says out of the 28 females, 3 of them play golf. Out of the 22 basketball players, out of the 22 basketball players, 12 of them were boys. So that means they're males, right? Okay, we're good. All right, it says using the information, complete the table. So I know this is going to be 10 because 12 plus 10 is 22. And let's see, 50 minus 28. I'm looking at this one right here. 50 minus 28 is 22, right? Okay. Then 22 plus 19, if I were to add those together and subtract them from 50, I would get 9 right here, right? Then 28 minus 13 is 15, right? And then 19 minus 15, I'm looking at this number right here, is 4, right? And 9 minus the 3 would be the 6 right here, right? Okay, now we got everything we need. Okay, so then it says find the probability that someone's female. Okay, so how many females do we have in the whole table? 28, right? 28 out of our 50, yes. And so that's going to reduce to be 14 over 25. That's going to be equal to 0.56, which is 56%. Okay. Now, the next one says male and golf. Remember, again, what does this mean? This means overlap, right? So we're looking at males right here and golf right here, right? So where's our overlap? It's at 6. Y'all see that 6 right there? So that's going to be 6 over 50, which is going to be 3 over 25, which is 0.12 or 12%. So the next one is basketball, or that's what that symbol means, right? And what does that mean? We're going to combine the two groups, okay? So I'm going to pull this one down here, probability. I'm going to do C down here, okay? So C, probability of basketball or males. Okay, so here's our basketball, right? Here's our males. Remember, we're going to take total 22 over the 50. Basketball. Males was, again, 22 over 50. Now notice that 12 right there, that 12 was included in both groups, right? So we need to subtract that 12. Okay, so when we do that, we get 32 over 50, which reduces to be 16 over 25, which is 0.64, which is equal to 64%. Okay, now the next one, females given golf. Okay, so that's going to be D. So we got, what's the probability that we are female given they play golf? Okay, so let me clean up this drawing and then we'll do it. So now remember, this is females given. That symbol means given. This symbol, let me scroll up a little bit right here. This symbol means given. Okay, so we're looking at just golf. Okay, and we're going to look at this subtotal. That's going to be our denominator. How many of those golfers were females? 3. So that reduces to be 1/3, which is 0.33, which is 33%. Okay. Last one says baseball or softball, baseball, softball, not. Remember. Okay, so that was D. So we're going to do this one different color. So this is E. So this one says probability of baseball slash, oops, I didn't write ball. Baseball slash softball. That means not, right, y'all? Not. Sorry about that. Not. Okay? So I'm just going to see if I can clean this up real quick. So we can use the same drawing to the best of my ability. I'm going to clean it up, okay? So we're talking about not softball, baseball, right? That's these, okay? So again, remember, if it's not, the easiest way to do this, y'all, is 1 minus the 19. That's our total over 50. I could add up everything else that's not baseball, but it's going to be easier to do it this way, right? So that's going to be 31 over 50. That does not reduce, so that's 0.62, which is 62%. Now remember, again, if I want to do this without like getting rid of all that, then can't I just add up the 22 and the 9? And guess what 22 and 9 are equal? 31. So there's more than one way to do this, okay?